Welcome back to Hoochos. Today on Hoochos, I have multiple physical products for both the Australians and the continental Americans. As well as that, I'm going to be releasing some new 3D prints, and it's all got to do with making the rain gutter grow system as available to as many people as possible with the least skill set required, or at least the least DIY capabilities required. I want this to be available to kids and mums and office workers that don't have a bunch of tools laying around. I want this literally available to everyone. In this video, I'm also going to do a walkthrough guide on how to assemble these products, be it in the American format or the Australian format, what glue to use, how to cut without power tools, and all of the different directions that you can go with the rain gutter grow system. It doesn't just need to be hooch buckets or grow spikes. There's an array of different directions you can take depending on your situation, your location, and the availability of materials to you. So what have I got for you? So first up, the physical products that I am going to be supplying to you are actually 3D prints. However, they are able to be bought physically because I am 3D printing them. I'm in the process of setting up a print farm with my mate Seb from the YouTube channel Seb Makes Stuff. And we will be running a print farm for the prototype products that, if there's enough demand for, we will get injection molded. Now, those products are, for the Australians, to start with, a blanking end and a float end for the 100 by 50 down pipe that is available in Bunnings across the country. The reason I've made it a blanking end is because I don't believe that you really need a drain for these systems. If you do want to drain them, you can just tip them. However, if you do want a drain point, you can just use a Christmas tree bit and put in a tap. So the blanking end across all of these prints is there because it is the most versatile end piece that I can give you to work with if you want to go that extra step. Now, all of these pieces are able to be retrofitted with this. This is the float cover that protects the float from light. Now, this won't be available immediately because we're ramping up production and we want to get the bare necessities out so that you can get your system up and running. You can just cut a piece of 90mm pipe and place it over the top if you like. These will be available immediately on Hydroland. As of the writing of this video, they should be up. Now, for the Americans, here I have 2x3 and 3x4 Amerimax downpipe, which is available in Lowe's and Home Depot and a variety of big box stores across America. Now, they are both widely available. However, I did a poll on the Facebook group and on my YouTube channel, and the smaller one seems to be more available than the larger one. However, people's preference is for the larger one. Now, this is a bit of a dilemma because this makes it available to more people, whereas this is more attractive to more people. So I'm stocking both on the Amazon store. Now, because there is essentially double the amount of parts that I need to print for the US market, it's taken me a bit longer, so hang in there. If you are interested, I'll make an announcement on the Facebook group and on my YouTube as to when these are available in the Amazon store. So if you're not subscribed already, subscribe, and you can head over to the Facebook group if you want a little bit more info or have any questions about it. As you can see, the printers are whirring away in full production, and it's only going to expand into the future as you vote by purchasing the products that you demand. So here, interestingly, I actually have one of every Bamboo Lab printer because I'm kind of working my way through which is the best for a print farm application. And we will be talking about my recommendations for a person's first printer, as well as print farm printers, in an upcoming video where I'm going to focus on all of these printers. The only printer that's missing here is the A1 Mini, because the bed size is too small to print the objects that I'm restricting myself to. So all of these beds are 256 by 256 by 256 millimeters, and that is the restriction that I've given myself going forward, so that it is available to the most people in the 3D print community, or at least that own 3D printers as tools. So the last product, well, it's actually not a product. So the last release that I'm doing today is, and I know these look all the same, but they are like different. I'm releasing these. It looks identical to the others. Now these are a 3D print. They are not available on any store yet. This is purely for the 3D printers in the audience. And they fit this. This is the larger downpipe that is available to Australians. I kind of ignored it for the longest time until someone on the Facebook group reached out to me and said, I only have access to the larger pipe. And then I went into my Bunnings and I only had access to the larger pipe. And I was like, I guess we're doing this. It's the same width as the other pipe, but it's a fair bit deeper. This will actually give you more root space. The reason I held off so long on creating this print was it's actually quite a bit more expensive. So I wanted to give people access if they don't have access, although I probably wouldn't recommend this one. I haven't even checked if the hooch buckets fit over it. Hang on. We're gonna be learning together here. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so the hooch buckets fit over absolutely fine. There's multiple size net cups on the Hydroland site, so you could even use a deeper net cup with this system and give your roots within the pipe a bunch more space as well. So that is an option now for the 3D printers in the audience. So from here, I want to show you how to assemble this system once you've got your parts printed or mailed out to you from Hydroland or the Amazon Hydroland. What you'll need: a PVC cement. Now I'd recommend going with the clear cement. This is really cheap. You can get it from your local hardware store, Lowe's, Bunnings, Home Depot. I think this was $6 for that whole thing. You will never go through that. So what do I do with it? Because I hate the brush that's inside it. I get an old HDPE, make sure it's HDPE, high density polyurethane, squeezy bottle. This is a interior wood glue originally, but now it has the PVC glue in it. That means that the PVC glue is not going to react with the bottle itself. You can tell it's HDPE because on the bottom it'll have a little 2 symbol with a HDPE, or just the 2 symbols enough to know. What that allows you to do is just squeeze it out onto the surface that you want to stick to each other. And because PETG is actually very soluble, it's actually the most soluble you can get for this glue, and PVC is also extremely soluble. To start with, we're actually just going to mark out where our float is, because we're going to cut it. You don't need anything special, no special tools. Scissors, this is a sheet metal cutter if you've got access to those, or every gardener has access to secateurs. Slide our end cap on, take our float cover. Now if you don't have a float cover yet, place the float in the area that it is. What that's going to do is it's going to give us an idea of where the float's going to sit in the system. And from here we can just mark out around the float. I like to mark just inside of it because I know that's where I want to cut. And we can just use a ruler to join the dots. There is what we're cutting out, right? Start with very basic tools. We can just cut the PVC. No power tools required. Easy? Yeah. Secateurs work as well. Just cut like so. Probably wouldn't recommend these, but if you're a gardener, you've already got them. I'd say these metal snips are going to just be the easiest. Yeah, these are real cheap at the hardware store. They just give you a bunch more leverage because they're built for this kind of application, and steel is, you know, harder than plastic. If you can use these, I'd say, especially if you don't have the greatest grip strength, this is going to give you the best chance of getting a nice hassle-free hole out. Like so. We're just going to check that our end matches up. Oh, have a go at that. And that's where our float's going to go in our system. So I'm just going to remove this part, and you can see how it can flex in now. The way that we're gonna stop that from flexing in when we've glued our end is we're gonna take that piece that we've got here. Now keep this, because this is now your template for every gutter you make from now on. And we're gonna take that piece and you just bend it right. That is going to allow us to make our gutter push outwards. See how it's sprung out? And I'm gonna add our PVC glue. Now, you do not need much of this stuff. It's gonna bond almost immediately within 5 minutes. And all you need to do is put a line of the glue where the end of your downpipe is going to touch the PETG, like so. There's not much at all, because we're only trying to bond the end to the back. We slide it on, and it's sprung out already because we've prepared it that way. It will just glue into place, like so. And we can leave that. That only needs to be left for, 10 minutes. And then we can remove our piece and keep our piece as a template. And we can also, in the meantime, do the other end. And obviously this side is going to be a piece of cake because you don't have to do any cutting at all. There's actually another option here. I have created an extra piece for this pipe system, which I will be adding to the other systems. I just haven't got around to designing it yet. This is a joiner. So you can now join multiple channels in a row. This is going to be available to 3D print if you want really long channels. Each one of these pipes is 3 meters. You could have a 6 meter channel, you could have a 9 meter channel, you could have a 12 meter channel, etc., as long as they're flat. Like, this is probably only going to be useful to people with long stretches of concrete, which is actually, most greenhouse growers, the hydroponic ones anyway. This is very useful for minimizing the expense, the outlay of float valves and etc. That just slides on like that if you're going to extend it, or we have our end cap. So we just do that line of PVC glue around the inside again, simple as, and it just slides on. And that is that. That is our rain gutter grow system setup. Now, the directions that you can go from here. Now, the first logical direction is the Hooch bucket hydroponics system. It's versatile, it'll last a lifetime, and I've grown a bunch of times in it. I can highly recommend it. That is going to work for a bunch of people that want a plug and play system. However, there are a bunch of other ways to do it, and that includes this. This is the reimagined rain gutter grow system that I created in the Reimagining the Rain Gutter Grow System video. And if you don't have access to the buckets, this system can be used like the Grow Spike, which is a 3D printable spike that will also fit within a system, utilizing growers pots or the bloody wind. The cheap alternative to growers pots bagged media system that I covered in a video, oh God, about a year ago now. These pots will reduce your cost of potting plants from $4.26 down to 15.5 cents per each pot. As you can see here, I've got sweet potato, ginger, galangal, and over here, I've got turmeric in my old wick wedge hydroponic system, which is another iteration of the rain gutter grow system. Now, the best way to supply nutrients to all these systems is to have a large reservoir that is full of hydroponic nutrient, just using basic garden hose fittings running to your rain gutter grow system floats. Now, this isn't a rain gutter grow system, but this is an upcoming video, and it demonstrates how the floats work. So the reservoir behind me, gravity feeds down to our quick connect fittings and the float that is within the system. And that reservoir can be any size. As you can see, I've got a 1,000 litre IBC, which feeds from the front multi quick connect fitting and out to a bunch of different systems. And it just tops up our float valve, as the plants draw the nutrients and water up into their stems, leaves, and fruit, and create produce that we can eat. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hoochos. All of the links will be in the description to both the Australian store and the Amazon store. And the files for 3D printers are available on my Patreon for you to print at home yourself. Happy hydroponicking, and I'll see you next time on Hoochos.